we all wish that Zahiruddin Ali Khan Sahab comes back. But sometimes our desires are not possible to, it is not possible to realize. We know that he will not be able to return, but yet we desire. We desire because he was doing so many things and he was doing so many wonderful things. Most of these activities remain unfulfilled. That's the reason why we want Zaheer Ali Khan back in this world. We are all, shaped by our times. These were 80s, 70s. Generally, people in Hyderabad, very lucky, go happy type. I was also asking Nirubhai what kind of, people, lived in those days, and he explained it. But subsequently, things changed. I vividly remember the riots in 1980s and 90s completely transformed the thinking of youth in Hyderabad. 80s and 90s there were so many riots have happened, but there is one particular which everyone remembers. In the 90s, about which Krishna Rao Commission was constituted, and the committee went into the incidents. And in that particular riots, shops were burnt right from Charminar onwards up to Abbott's. People were shocked. Something like this can happen in Hyderabad. So they all started reflecting on the social conditions of Hyderabad. Why such riots take place? Because people were living together, very friendly, warm to each other, sharing their experiences, sharing their food, sharing, festivals. But suddenly when this has happened, people were shocked. And then they started thinking about it. I remember a meeting was held in Urdu Ghar. And in that meeting, lot of things were discussed. It was a 2-day workshop was held. And in that 2-day workshop, lot of issues were taken up for discussion about democracy, about secularism, and why people wanted to understand why communal riots take place and how these riots can be prevented. So all these issues were taken up for discussion, and after that, number of people started involving in social activities. They started taking up these issues very seriously. Hyderabad Ekta was created at that time. Along with Hyderabad Ekta, KOVA was also constituted. And these organizations were the forums around which lot of activities were taking place. Trying to understand communalism was one objective. Trying to find out a way out of this crisis was another issue. And how best we can help people to raise their socio-economic issues, keeping aside these religious problems, was the third issue. So this was the major task everyone was taking up, and there were few individuals who were leading this. M.T. Khan was there, and then Professor Keshav Rao Jadhav was there, K.G. Kannabiran Sahab was there, Kalpana Kannabiran, Vasanta Kannabiran, Rama Melkote, Suzy Taru, they were all helping us understand these issues and lead this activity. It was in that turmoil, we see the rise of a new group that was very active in Hyderabad, taking up all these issues. Zaheer Ali Khan was also a product of these developments, to the best of my knowledge, and after that his thinking has completely transformed, and then he started taking part in various activities. Various activities, of course, it is not something that has happened all of a sudden. It was part of the family tradition. It was part of, the secular tradition that others have mentioned earlier. Right from Maghdum Mohyuddin to a number of people have already established this tradition. So they invoked that tradition and they started following it up, and they started upholding this tradition in Hyderabad. And it is in that context we see rise of a number of people. I still remember Mazhar. We were all fellow students, and he was a student of Central University, but after that he realized that he has a more greater role to play in social life than in, business. So he changed, he transformed into a new individual. And like that, many people became so active in the social activities. And then onwards, we see a lot of number of young individuals emerging into social activism. One such was Zaheer Bhai. He was, the kind of activities he has done, it is difficult to imagine. In the 90s and subsequently from 90s onwards till his death, the number of things he did is amazing. I was participating in a memorial meeting organized by the NRIs the day before. Yesterday, a memorial meeting was organized by at the All India level. And both the meetings, they listed out the things. Some of the things we don't even know. After Gujarat riots, they went to Gujarat. And what did they do? They mobilized legal support. And they provided relief to the victims of communalism. Hindu or Muslim, it is immaterial, but they supported whosoever suffered in the communal riots. He did the same thing in many other states in North India, not only in Hyderabad. Hyderabad, Jeevan has already mentioned about it. I need not go into all those details. A number of innocent people were arrested after Charminar blast. And all of them were released because of the efforts made by Zaheer Bhai. He helped a number of poor Muslims enter into educational system. Yesterday someone mentioned that between 2014 up to 2016, around 1,000 people were educated in Hyderabad from Jharkhand. Poor Muslims from all over the country. They were brought to Hyderabad. They were, helped in getting an admission in engineering colleges here. They completed their engineering. Now they have settled well and working. Some of them are working even abroad in many other countries. So that is another activity that he has done. Of late he started bringing poor Muslims from Assam to avail education in Hyderabad. He used to provide skill training. He used to teach English to very poor boys and girls. He also used to teach, encourage the unity with the other democratic communities. He was building bridges between Muslims and the other democratic movements. That was another significant activity that he has been taking up. So these are so many, activities that he has been taking up. I think the association with Gaddar also started in that course. I remember in 96, after the Babri Masjid incident, there were riots all around Hyderabad. In a number of places, masjids were also destroyed. And at that point of time, Gaddar came out. And his meetings initially were against these communal riots. We have organized one meeting in Shankarpalli. But similar meetings were also held. And last night someone reminded us about it. Similar meetings were also organized in Anantapur. And Anantapur, to prevent communal riots, on a day when the Shandy was taking place in Shankarpalli, the meeting was held. Lot of people came. And Gaddar attended and addressed that meeting. He spoke, he sang, and at the end of it he said, if you are not careful, Khabardar bidda, inta cheppina, lollulaithe matram nenu ukunedi lediga. So this is how, he issued a warning. So that's how the association also has grown, and the friendship has grown so strong between both of them. And this was not simply a kind of a personal association. This was an endeavor at building bridges between different democratic movements, and in particular between he wanted to strengthen relationship between Dalits and the Muslims. So it was, a part of a larger strategy that he was doing all these things. His concern was to strengthen democracy, and to strengthen democracy even in Hyderabad. He was invited a number of times by the government, and to resist To resist invitation from powers that be is not a small thing. Is not a small thing. Long, long ago, saints used to do it. People say in Delhi, Amir Khusro never allowed anyone to enter into his, his small hut. He said, if the ruler comes from one door, I will walk out from the other door. So to muster courage to say that, I don't want to meet you. If you want to learn something, learn it from the people. And if you want to do things properly, learn it from the people. So that was his understanding. And therefore he said, the moment I meet you, people will think that I have surrendered to you. So he never wanted to surrender himself to anyone. And that's why he said, I am not standing on the side of the powers that be. I am on the side of the victims. So he made it very clear. Wherever he went, he was on the side with the victims. He was with the poor. He was with the destitute. He was not with people who exercise power, who wielded power. And that distinction he always maintained. And therefore, ruthless exercise of power is something that he hated and he wanted to oppose. His opposition to government at the state and central level is not something very personal. If it were to be a personal confrontation, perhaps Zaheer could have easily settled it and he could have established good relationship with government. वो तैयार नहीं था, रिश्ता जुड़ने के लिए तैयार नहीं था, उनके साथ रिश्ता रखने के लिए भी वो तैयार नहीं था, वो आवाम के साथ जुड़कर काम करना चाह रहा था. वो हम समझना बहुत ही जरूरी है मेरे ख्याल में. That democratic tradition is what we need to uphold. And how can one single individual do so many things? That always astonishes me. He was in the office right from 8, 9 in the morning until about 7, 8 in the evening. He is there in the office, but yet he is also doing all these activities. How can one single individual do it? That always astonished me. But he did all these things. What we do not know is that he is a very successful businessman. As if, he has not entered into it because he failed in the business. No, he had an option to earn money. One day he told me, I am very good at shares business. Very casually he mentioned it. I am very good at it. I made lot of money. It is in connection with some management of the media house that he was talking about it. I am very good strategy. He is a good business strategist. He has run the Siasat Urdu web channel, is one of the best channels in the world. It is highly rated in the world. So that's the level to which he has taken this newspaper. So these are not mean achievements. He can do that. But he said, "वो अभी मैं नहीं करना चाह रहा." So he has by choice relinquished it. He has given it up so that he can take part in social activities. I think that's what we should learn. He is a great human being, not because he is lovable to everyone, but because he rejected power, he rejected money, and he decided to be on the side of the poor and destitute. That's the reason why we should remember him. We should cherish his memories, and we should continue his activities. It's so difficult. We may always say that we will continue his tradition, but he was doing so many things. Educating people on the one hand, helping the poor people to develop their skills, helping the students to improve their language. He was teaching Urdu simultaneously, and he was doing so many things, and also very successfully running a media house. Doing all these things, one single individual is something that is very, very astonishing, and in that sense he is a role model for all of us. We always find it difficult to spare some time, but it was never difficult for him to spare time. He always found time for democratic activity, for humanitarian activity. How he could take out that time, that We have never asked him, I have never asked him, but somehow he had time for everything that is necessary in order to sustain human values and in order to sustain democracy. I think that's what we should learn from Zaheer bhai. And if we really wanted this meeting to happen, it is because, you know, we need to understand that man so that we can also be like Zaheer bhai. It is, you know, very difficult to forget him, that charming smile and that soft spoken, you know, person, and the conversation always used to be interesting with him. He would talk about number of things, and beyond all these things he used to read, and extensively he used to read. And I still have a book that he has gifted me, and he used to tell me, you know, read this. He would recommend books, and then he would talk about, you know, all those books. So this, I think, is what we miss. What we miss, and sad thing is that he has passed away on a day, you know, when we were all mourning Gadar Saab. Still we wish, if there were to be an opportunity to talk to God and fight with God, maybe one thing that we would all demand is that give us back Zaheer bhai. We will not ask for anything else. But that perhaps is one thing that is not possible. But yet we still desire that, you know, someone should replace him, someone should continue this activity. We all should. We all should. Not one single person can do it. We all should. Good that, you know, his son is willing to support these activities. But we will learn to replace him. It is not so easy as, but we have to slowly learn to, you know, take up all those activities, shoulder all those responsibilities. I express my strong condolences, and how I wish that we all become Zaheeruddin Khan once again to conduct all these activities. Thank you.